Hello, everyone. Welcome into Flying with Mike today. Boy, that went right down to the wire, getting things to the preliminary start. Welcome aboard. We've got the KC-46 lined up. Granted, yes, missing a couple things, but I like what the person did in creating this. Actually, created several, but in order to use it, you have to have the 767. Hang on, I have to do it myself over here. Professional extended upgrade, the in-between one. Not really sure what the all-out full bore pay as much money as you can for will give you, but this one gives you the 767-200 200 SF freighter, which is what you see in front of you, and the 300 freighter. So you got a whole lot of aircraft, and they are spectacular. Oh, nice. Let me try something here, folks. I noticed something with the engines aren't looking right. When that happens, try switching them, if it'll let me. Oh, I'm not allowed to switch. So we'll have white engines. I've already loaded the plane is basically what it was saying. And if I'll run it again. So the plane's loaded. We'll have to go with it. No big deal. Just looks weird. But but anyway, now we are getting ready to fly 2 flights today, and we're going to be pretty hard pressed on time. We have a meeting here in our house with the neighborhood, and later tonight, and I want to make sure I'm down on the ground and available. Let's put it that way. So, with that in mind, we are flying the KC-46, we're going to call it that, from here in McChord Air Force Base, where we left off with the Fearless 747. We're going to go from here to Hill Air Force Base. Now, that may sound familiar. That was something we were going really hard to try to make last week, but time just did not work for me. And we would have been really late, and that's not fair to those. So, in respect, we're going to do it today. Meet up with them at Hill Air Force Base as they continue on to Albuquerque, which, by the way, is also Kirtland Air Force Base. International Airport to the west, Kirtland to the east, if you didn't know that. So that's the game plan today. Again, the 767. Real quick, for those not familiar with it, to load the aircraft. So when you load in, you can go to plugins, ground, and make sure what you see is green you have on the deck. So you want the stairs, you want the chocks, you want the LSUs. They're on the other side. Let me show them to you. There they are. They're the baggage loaders. You want the ground power unit. Preferably, it's not required, but it's preferred. I also say the chocks aren't required, but preferred. Why? Well, you can be on battery. You're just draining it. But you also need the fuel truck and the loader unit. Now, the ACU I put there for comfort for the crew, but you got to have at least the loader, fuel truck, LSUs, stairs, then make sure the doors are open, and then you're able to load. We'll get into that loadout here in a second, but as you look there, you're scratching your head. You only have 3 pallets on there? Yeah. Flight factor philosophy is the pallets are going to be set up in a standard format if I get them. I hope, and that's scary if I do. Meaning each pallet weighs the same. So if I put 20 pallets on there, each one's going to weigh 9,800 pounds. You aren't going to put 20 pallets on here is what I'm saying. But we'll get into it. Then what I do is I take the zero fuel weight. Let me back that truck up a little bit. First off, I come in here, zero pallet weight, zero cargo weight. Bump, done. Then I go in, take the zero fuel weight for the load in SimBrief, subtract the zero fuel weight of the plane. That's going to give me what the payload actually will be. Then divide by 9,800 because each pallet weighs that. You're going to get a whole number dot. The we'll deal with in a second. Take everything to the left of the decimal. That's your pallet count. I take, once I have my pallets on board, I then take that zero fuel weight and then again subtract it out from what's expected, and that's my cargo weight. It gets confusing to first-time users, couple-time users, because they think, oh, cargo weight's what's on my pallet. No, each pallet weighs 9,800 pounds. So a little easier to do in the passenger planes because we don't have pallets to deal with, but except for the A350. But I hope that made sense. Once you have that set, throw your fuel weight in from SimBrief. Then come up here. I always perform maintenance. I always click optimum CG till this turns white, and then load. And then if you touch it again, it's a retouch if you want to trim it up. Okay. Now, how do you open the doors? Ops, airplane, open all doors. Now, the passenger version, be careful because it does open every door. That means L1, 2, and 3, and L right. So you're getting doors that normally wouldn't be opened on the ground. So kind of watch that, but it shows you what you're opening. Otherwise, just click the dots and it takes care of it. And then, of course, we could have switched out of, we're in GE. We could have switched to Pratt & Whitney, but we didn't. My bad. So there you have it. That's how you load this plane. And like I said, I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't, look for this video up at YouTube. It'll be up later today or tonight, and you'll be able to back and forth it real easy. You can do it on Twitch, but it just a little more get you out of sync. Sorry, got to get some coffee in me. All right, so let us crawl up into the aircraft. Bring in SimBrief. Correction, SimToolKit. Oh, look, he remembered not to have, he's online already, by the way. I'm already there, so. All right, so the load sheet for today, 36,750 pounds. That is just the crew. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. We have 175 visitors with us today. All right. And then we're blocking out of here with 21,813 pounds of fuel. The route today, Mocha 4 to BKE, to the J163 to Boise, to 15 to TWF, and BEARR. And then we'll figure out what the heck we're going to land on when we get there. Cost index 80, flight level 390. So come join us. The event is actually Hill Air Force Base to Albuquerque. I'm just catching up. Worst case scenario, we'll pick up an IFR clearance on down to Albuquerque if we can't get in on time. All right, weather real quick here in Tacoma, otherwise known as how's it go? Joint Base Lewis-McChord, I think is how it goes. It's Army and Air Force. I really don't like joint bases. Why can't we just keep them one? It's just so confusing. But anyway, calm winds, 9-mile visibility, and we got an overcast layer of 500 feet. So pretty nasty outside, nasty. 3 degrees on the temperature and 2 degrees on the dew point, which folks that know anything about weather know we are in that possibility for fog, which is the 500-foot overcast. With it being 3 degrees, we'll de-ice in spot and then taxi out for runway 16. Down in Hill, which is, by the way, in Salt Lake City, little better. Overcast skies at 3,700 feet. 120 at 4, and however the temperature is -4 and -8. Yuck. Oh well, at least it's 10-mile visibility, so pretty decent flight ahead of us. Again, here it is. Salt Lake's here, Seattle, Tacoma here. We're flying over Boise and into Hill Air Force Base. All right, with that, let's get this bird in the air. Like I said, we are loaded. Now, there is another way to get that tablet. Like I said, you can click here. Or right over a little further there. There's your tablet as well. So just so you know, now it will come up on the general, and then you would have to select. We're going to come over to Ops, Ground, get rid of the LSU, the fuel truck, and the loader. And then we're going to go over here to the airplane, close up the main door and the cargo doors. All right. Just getting things ready to go. And for that, now let's get things ready to scoot out of here. Okay, we got that reset. We're set on the gauges. All right. Let's head up here. And let's get our nav system aligning. 2, 3. All right, LRC. At least that makes more sense than putting 1, 2, 3. That makes no sense. But hey, this is the only time we really deal with it. Now, when the words align come up, that number is how many minutes. Go to nav. And I'm going to jump down here to the FMC and start in on that. Okay, so make sure everything's good. We're good for another couple days on our nav cycle. Going to position init. Kilo, Tango, Charlie, Mike. And to the route. And we are flying to KHIF. All right, now we do have a company route. Bear with me a second. I always forget. I think this is the weirdo that does not have a number on the end. Where are my downloads? Okay, click there. And I'm glad I looked because I would have been wrong. Okay, so we're going KTCM, KHIF01. All right, flight numbers, just so we all know. 18. All right. All right, so let's go to departure arrival. We said runway 16, Mocha Fall. Was it BKE? Yes, it was. Execute. come back to legs. Okay, and there may be, oh, there is not. All right, go back here. All right, folks, I will have to be right back. Stand by. I need to use the lav real quick. Sorry about that. All right, my apologies, folks. No music makes it even worse. Sorry. Whew. You know, I still have a gallbladder, but my wife and some of my kids don't. And I sometimes feel like, did they take my gallbladder and I didn't know? So I know I've already heard it. You would know. All right, so let's go to route. Oh, wait, what did I just do? My bad. I was here. I want to go to index, hill. Now we need to select our approach. All right, so currently, for some strange reason, they've got things lined up for 3-2. Now, that's not a bad wind. But as you can see, 120 at 4, 10 miles, 3,700 feet. I would kind of like an ILS for this. So we're going to switch to the 1-4. So you see how this is real nice, tells you a quick synopsis of head or tailwind and crosswind on which side. If there were arrivals, we could select. There are 5 different approaches, 4 of which I think we see right here. So I'm going to go and change it to here. Of course, we know that means when I get in the area, Salt Lake will come up and say, you're going to, So, but there's your 5 approaches: TACANs and ILSs, VORs and ILSs. All right, so let's plan. And if you're not sure by what you're seeing, because see, when you click that, it brings up not only what you have, but how they look. And it's a little confusing. So if you're not sure, like, what's this ILS X-ray look like? Probably exactly, I think I just clicked Y. Okay, we go out to wild and fly it in. Now, there could be part of this is a high ILS, and you require a TACAN on this one. Let's try Yankee. High ILS or, so a little different. Now, the high ILS is for the fighters dropping in, because they're going to basically fall out of the sky to land. It's a controlled crash. That's what a land is. All right. Just making sure. I'd like to look at X-ray one more time. And by the way, the airfield is 4,700 feet above sea level. Yeah, we'll go with X-ray. Why not from wild? Okay, and then once you've selected it, it now shows you how that'll work and your missed approach. Okay, so we said X-ray, wild, execute. Now, let's look at it real quick. Now, usually, whoop, you got to go to legs. Usually, you just go to your plan and watch it on your display. I'm just going through looking for discontinuities. There's one between BEARR and wild. Is that correct? Wild 8,600 feet. Cool. All right. So there you have it. That gets us set up for that. Click execute. And then, of course, if we click next page, that's our missed approach. And there's what it looks like on the chart. Let's bring Sim Toolkit back in. Why? Actually, I forgot to do something anyway down here. Get over here real quick. I need to get these set right, even though there is a check for it. All right, now let's get our performance data. So come back to route, go to performance, click 0 fuel weight. Now from Sim Toolkit, let me show you what I have done. This is, you have to set this up, but there's a settings cog down here. If you click on it, it tells you, you can put things in here. Now, NavGraph, you got to put your, go to the web browser, copy the page to here that you want, and NavGraph and SimBrief. Okay, that's how that works. All right, so now we're going to go to SimBrief. And if you know SimBrief, you know that's the page. All right, now over here, since I've already started this flight, all we got to do is view the flight plan. However, if you want to see the runway with your V1 rotate V2 speeds, you'll have to go to this icon, which is the performance and tools. Why I don't like using that, even though it's going to give you that runway, you got to basically redo your flight plan. Where if you just start from view flight plan, take off perf up here, you're right there without the map and all the data filled in. I like simplicity, especially in a stream. I need to get moving. Compliments of a quick run to the lav doesn't help. So populate weather, verify your information real quick, and calculate. Why are we not calculating? Hang on, we're having one of those lovely on-air issues. There it goes. Okay, so as you can see, here's what the populate, what you get from your flight plan. Here's your current runway and weather conditions. The only thing missing here is the slope. We can get that from Sim Toolkit as well, along with your charts, those that know where they're at. I actually don't know where they are. I think I kind of do, but I've never looked because I can get it off Sim Toolkit. Inputs, these are your weights, what you want for flaps, and if you want your bleeds or packs on, your anti-ice on, and so forth. In auto is fine. So, and then here's what it kicked out for you. Flaps 5, takeoff 2, 54 degrees for your select temperature. Basically, we're trying to save that engine so it doesn't need repair as much as often. I'm not sure if the Air Force really follows these guidelines. I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I really don't know if they follow and actually set up a D rate and all of that. V1, 125, rotate 129, climb out with a 1 engine over a 50-foot obstacle 132. Remember, if you blow an engine after 51 or R1, correction, V1, you got to commit to flight. So they're telling you a speed that'll give you your best angle to clear obstacles and to climb at. And then here's some other thing, bleeds on, anti-ice off. Well, we're going to de-ice, so that should be good. Okay, so that's what we're looking for here. Now, gonna tell you, the numbers in this airplane may not match. We're not too overly concerned. I'm going to go with what the airplane tells me. Also, before I get too far away from SimBrief, reserves. That's up here on the screen. Let me back this truck up a little. Come down to your briefing preview, show details. Okay, this is the Lido default format. If you don't change it, this is how it will print out. Come down here to your planned fuel, look for FMS info, and then final reserve plus alternate. FAA US requires 45 minutes of fuel. Not sure how that plays out with the military, but I'll bet most of those guys play pretty close to that minimum. Then you got to have enough fuel to make your farthest away alternate. In our case, all we got to do is make it to LGU. So that's not very far, thankfully. So our fuel requirement for the reserve is only 7,260 pounds, or 7.2 is what we'll put in. Whoop, not 72, 7.2. Okay, today's cruise altitude, also findable here. Let me just head up. It's 39,000. And we can also get that cruise wind. Oh, and that cost index is, I think, 80. 80 and 359 at 58. Okay, so let's go to the takeoff page. I click the CG to get that number in there, and then I go to page 2, next page. Wind, y'all know that wind. If you don't, look on your sim brief under takeoff. It tells you 000 at 0. I'm not really sure how it's going to take 0-0. Okay, and then the slope I told you you can get from Sim Toolkit. Okay, click the third item down, full flight log and routing. There's our airport. As you read down, slope is, well, it's either going to be a minus sign for down or no sign for positive, so it's up, 0.4. There's your format, U 0.4. And then our reference outside temperature, 3 degrees. Now go to next page and finish it up. I do not know how to, let's try. Let's try. What the heck? Wait. What's our thrust again? $54. I'm going to try something. This is why I usually don't. That won't work. Oh, okay. That is the first time I've ever seen that. Wow. And we're doing flaps 5. Now you're going, well, why aren't we seeing speeds? Turn them on. Reference speeds, select on. Now, when you look at them, told you they're going to be different. Go with these, 125, 129, 132. 125. 129. 132. Trim to 4, if I remember. I rarely do. And then I turn the speeds off. So there you go. FMC setup. We're ready to really think about getting out of here. Let's kick that APU on. Okay, fuel pumps on. Bad thing, it does spool up really quick. As I said, it's already there. Okay, so we'll click APU. Come off external power. Come over here, open, turn on, close the flap. It just gives you 2 clicks, folks, and it is very helpful. Kick on the bleed, should see the air come up. You're ready to go. Welcome aboard, folks. Let's get going. All right, real quick in the middle here, 132. We'll make that 142 for our climb out speed. We said 165. And then, do we have ATC? No. to 39,000. It will climb via the constraints put in by the SID. If not, we'll get to 39,000 pretty quick. Flight director's on. Now this step here actually comes after the engines are started. I like to have things ready to go. Real quick on our departure brief. Okay, so you can, oh no, you can't see where we're parked. What? There we go. All right, so you can see we're parked here. We're going to come out, take Charlie? No, hotel. All the way down to Alpha for takeoff. It's 10,108 foot. Mocha 4, we're going to kind of come out 3,000 feet, bank a little to the left to Alder, between 9 and 5,800 feet Mocha, on out to Baker City. Pretty simple departure. Top altitude's 9,000 feet. I think we'll go higher. Baker City transition, Gymno translimit. So we're going to push out and keep climbing. Oh, my nose is trying. So there you go. We're ready to partake. We got the APU up. And I'm going to go ahead, close all the doors. I find if you go to this one, you can select where you want to end up. Actually, let's start on airplane. Close all. Just in case you forgot something, it'll close it. Ground. Okay, we're on the APU, we're on the GPU. Now with this plane, make sure to click off the generator. Once you click the APU, that's great, but make sure you push that external power unit so that it's reading available, and then deselect your GPU. Otherwise, you could have to put your flight plan all back in, and that stinks. Take it from someone that's done it a few times. All right, we're ready to go, folks. Let me get rid of shots. And let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. Been a few days since I flew this plane. Okay, we're back up there. Okay, norm. I don't turn the yaw dampers on because it will deflect the rudder in this model. And that's not an X-plane thing. That's a flight sim thing. Not all airplanes, but some, it does deflect it. And to get around it on the ground, I stay off the yaw damper. And that also means I will probably forget it until we get into flight, well into flight. Okay, aft cargo heats coming on. Engine start to even. And what I do, my system is even days, even numbers in this plane, odd days, odd numbers. Of course, you could go pilot flying on the left, pilot flying on the right. You know, however if you're flying it shared. I don't usually fly shared. Get those 175 peeps in order back there. Fuel pumps on. And ACARS double checking is running. The checklist actually tells you that I have. I wish they all did, if you follow it fully. Okay, cabin altitude, equipment cooling, auto. Since we have people back there, we'll turn the lights up. And trim air, recircs, cabin airs are set to auto. Packs are on. They're about to be turned off, though, for engine start. We'll get to that in a minute. And I think we're ready to go, folks. Strap up, strap in, let's go. Now, as you can tell, we're not gonna be able to, well, we could, I guess, go forward, but we got to go through those. So I am going to just push the plane back. But let's go ahead, call better pushback. And you know what? I forgot to do something. Now you can hear the airplane. I had it muted for the opening. Yeah. All right, let's try that again. I see it said something about a new version.
Hey, Captain, let me know where you want this thing.
So we would go to our Skunk Crafts updater to update it to the new version. We'll just go ahead and turn it.
Great news, Captain. Your tow's coming.
Okay, let's pull the chocks. I believe that's everything off the plane. And I do like to do an exterior look just to make sure. See if anyone's brave enough to fly with Mike. I don't see anyone. All right, let's just get pushed here and we'll get started up. Start for this aircraft. Parking brake set. Okay. You have to turn off the packs. And at that point, you're ready.
All right. Looks like the doors and hatches are closed and we're ready to connect.
Okay, make sure your bleed is on and you have plenty of air pressure. And we do. Again, you can do both or select an engine start. It takes just a few seconds to get us going, and we will be on our way to Hill Air Force Base, hopefully in time to join the group headed to Albuquerque. While we're waiting, let's turn on some lights. Again, flight factor, make sure you check here on X-Plane, your X-Pilot, and your setup that everything is right.
Bypass pins inserted. Go and kill the parking brake when you're ready to go.
I will in just seconds. 1641. Okay. Reach 18. All right, we're ready to go. Oh, what is the CTAF here? Actually, I might get it off the chart. 24.8. It's one thing I hate about this plane. But overall, let me say one thing about Flight Factor. They haven't done a great job with the other aircraft in their inventory and keeping them, or they don't stack up like this one. They are one of those companies that don't like to do updates while in beta, even though each of their products is beta. However, this aircraft has weathered all the betas, all the release clients that have come out in X-Plane 12. I have never come to this plane and not been able to fly it. The rest of the fleet, yes. But the 767s are very resilient with all of the updates. So, you may not, like swallowing the pill for what it costs.
Here comes the pushback. Light them up.
Best plane I've had from X-Plane, aside from Zebo. All right, we've got the packs off. Let's crank those engines up. And again, you're going to find it. We had a 767 pilot here that frequented the channel quite a bit early on. Hope all is well with him. But he even said, this is way too fast. Flew freighters. I can't remember if he said Atlas or Polar, but or not Polar, Prime. But anyway, he flew the cargo planes, and not very. He was really shocked how fast we spooled up. Now, the 300 ER, I think they've gotten that plane pretty good. It's just why it doesn't trigger down to the others, I don't know. All right, number one's on. Or number two, sorry. Let's start up number one. And literally, by the time you're down here, it's to that magenta line. Again, welcome aboard. Flying from McChord, which is actually Lewis-McChord Joint Base to Hill Air Force Base. And then Hill Air Force Base to Kirtland, which is on Albuquerque International. Rig set.
And we're disconnecting the tow. Give me just a moment.
Okay, while he does that, we do not have to do anything like the 737 with the generators. That's automatic. However, get our self back up top here. Fuel, okay, parking brake set, tow vehicles on its way. Let's get left and right engine pumps on. Okay, left and right bleeds. APU bleed can now come off. And
we're disconnected. Signal
everything
pin on the
looks
right.
good.
Take it easy and have a safe flight.
And we can turn off the generator. All right. With that, we are ready to proceed into taxi. Auto brakes. Okay, and taxi lights. State trim to 4. Hang on a second. Looks good. All right, I'm going to switch to status. We're going to check our surfaces, make sure they're doing good and centered. All right, I thought I saw something that the altimeter may have changed here. 3056. All right, and we're ready to taxi. Let's switch over to CTAF if we haven't already. No, we have not. McChord Air Force Base, common traffic, reach 18 heavy, taxi to runway 16. Hope y'all are ready. If not, so sad. K200. Let's go there. Let's go there. Flight controls check, parking, taxiing, and at the hold we'll do a recheck of a lot of things here. And right ahead of us is the assault runway. Fun times trying to land on those. Actually had it down pretty good in FSX. But it's a little, the way the physics work here more realistically makes it a little trickier to get them in, and you know, it takes a lot of practice to get it to do what you need to. And that C-130 that you got to pay for here isn't, it's good. I mean, it's great that we have it, but it's not that great. So, all right, so we're taking down here to runway 16. Hope you all enjoy. Glad to have you aboard. If you're new to the channel, smash that follow button. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, you know, hit that subscribe button and the like. Let us know what you think in the comments. Subscribing over on YouTube is not like subscribing here in Twitch. Subscribing over on YouTube is like following, and it just lets you know when a video's coming. Following here in Twitch just lets you know when we go live if you hit that bell. And if you're interested to fly on VATSIM, this is a requirement for Sim Air Force. If you're willing to fly on VATSIM, here's how you get into a Sim Tool or a Sim Air Force. And it's a great bunch of people there, folks. Are we there yet, Mr. Matt 1997? Hey, you ought to know it takes time. You fly a Cessna. Welcome in, sir. Welcome. Hope your Christmas and holidays went well. Besides the great news, you're able to get back in the air. Okay, I'm just gonna pull over here and do a, I think I've got a de-ice switch here. So, nice. Love to hear that you got up to fly. That is always good. All right. Let's come up here. I thought I saw an option. I'm going to double check. I've actually never used it. I don't even know if it'll do anything. I know this much, it looks like it's going to hit my wing. Okay, I guess we don't have that ability, so. McChord, common traffic, reach 18, heavy departing 16. All right, folks, let's get going. Miss anything, you can always pick it up on YouTube. Okay, arm, arm, arm. Parking brake thrust levers. Wait a minute. Speed brake. Oh, hey, let's not get. And the first officer is in the house. Miss. Hello, how are you? Hello, hello, hello. Gonna watch the takeoff? I didn't think so. All right, speed brakes, running lights, nose gear lights, MCP is set, and here we go. Now there is a click spot here. So throttle up to about 65%. That'll put your needle real close to the top end of that arc. Makes it real easy to tell when they're together. And hit the set screw right next to speed. Put you in toga. And I forgot to deploy flaps. Airspeed's alive, 80. There's 100. V1. Rotating. Gears coming up. Into the clouds as expected, and we're on our way. All right, let's go into climb 2. And out of it we come. Oh, what a beautiful shot that is, folks. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Flaps are indeed up. We're through 5,000 and we are on our way. Now, you see it says 2 hours. Let's see, we're at 5,000 feet. I didn't start the timer yet. Let's go ahead and turn that one on. And from this moment, let's see how long it takes for that to be down to at least an hour and a half, if not less. But I hope you're enjoying. Thanks for being a part of this. Again, if you're really wanting to have fun in a military way on sim or a VATSIM, again, remember, that is a requirement. You have to fly your flights on VATSIM. Some of us don't like that, and I get that, but that's the way it is. That's why they're a virtual VATSIM special operation group. You know, you can't not fly on VATSIM and have VATSIM in the beginning. So anyway, if you're willing to fly on VATSIM and you want to do late drops, you want to do assault landings, formation flying, air refueling, combat actions in military operating areas against each other or different things, you might want to look them up, look at them, and see what you think. There is either plans for or already in place something with DCS as well, the digital combat sim out there. I do not know anything about that. So, but you get on board, they can let you know if we do and how we do. Because unfortunately there, you can't fly on VATSIM. So I don't know how all that would work. From time to time, we do have events, not just like this where we fly from point A to point B, but sometimes we'll mix it up in the military areas, from cargo drops to air, air to ground, bomber runs, tanking, helicopter operations. So again, if you're interested in that kind of flying, check us out at icrew.simairforce.com. Love to have you, but just realize it's the military. You are gonna have to fly additional rules above and beyond what VATSIM says. Speaking of rules of VATSIM, I guess I should switch my radio back to Unicom. Play nice. As we climb through the volcanoes of the Northwest. Now, back in FSX and Sims prior to that, air refueling and formation flying was a challenge. I have not tried formation flying in X-plane, be it 11 or 12, to see, can we get tight enough and see each other? The only way we could do that back with the older Sims was to fly on something called Join FS or something like that, and we could actually then set it up to the aircraft, so the model matching was a whole lot better than what VATSIMS does. But I think it was Join FS. Anyway, whatever it was called, that's what we would do, and that would bring us from flying a formation where we would look on the map like we're where we should be, but you look out your plane, the plane's over a mile away. You come in for an air refuel, same thing. You're not in tight. But with that program, we were able to get in and hook up some aircraft. Some programs allowed the transfer of fuel. So it was, I don't, again, know how X-Plane works with that. I would assume there's ways to do it. But as you saw, we'll show you again, I don't have a boom. And even if you got the higher price version, no boom. No boom boom. All right, so just getting my map here set on NavGraph a lot better. And we're on our way to Parker. And then on to Hill Air Force Base. There's transition. Let me show you 2 click spots here you need to really be aware of. The one next to speed, that one is how you go to Toga for your takeoffs. But this one that I'm going to show you, when you set this, you're going to see a message pop up. Altitude disagree. Set your altimeter. All that's saying is this altimeter disagrees with this one that's still at 3056. So instead of having to scroll that one all the way down, click the upper right set screw on the altimeter and it will set it to the same numbers here, and you just saw the message go away. Unfortunately, the standby altimeter you have to do. All right, we are 6 minutes in from when I finally turned my clock on. I'm going to go ahead and turn my lights off. Okay, so 6 minutes in, is now down to 1 hour and 12 minutes. And it's raining as we pass another volcano. They are littered all over. Mount St. Helens is out here somewhere. I do not claim to know which one's which. I think that one is maybe the only one. Rainier? I'm not certain. But anyway, a whole bunch of volcanoes out here. Well modeled in X-Plane. Are we there yet? You know, Matt, I'm looking back at your comment there. Ooh, wait a minute. I just realized. Click. There we go. I ought to answer that also another way. Which destination? So, but anyway, hope you all enjoy. We're through 23,439. Welcome aboard. There's another volcano if you don't see it off in the distance there too. Like I said, they're all over the place out here. And as the scientists love to say, they're dormant. Well, they said that about Mount St. Helens too. If you're not familiar with it, It blew the side out of it. Not the top, the side. If you ever get a chance, watch the still imagery. I'm sure it's somewhere out there on YouTube. And it's the side that explodes, not the top. Yeah, that was, I remember that. I think I was in high school when that happened. Might have been college, but wow. Couple of movies about it. Dante's Peak, kind of, sort of, based off of it, not true to life to it. That actually went to the theaters, but several, or a couple of TV movies were made. But yeah, they're dormant. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We'll leave it at that. You're not going to catch this guy living within 100 miles of it, of a volcano that he knows of. Of course, we have Yellowstone, a super volcano. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah. And huge. If that sucker blows, wow. Krakatoa, you've all might have heard of. Trying to think of the one down in Greece that blew up. Many say that's where the tales of Atlantis came from. Oh, I used to know the name of that one too. Doggone it. Stinks getting old. Anyway, don't worry, you're afflicted by it too. You will one day get old. All in fun, folks, all in fun. All right, let's continue on. Enjoy the flight. An hour and, well, we're under an hour now. We're not even at cruise. So we have now dropped in the span of about, is that 18 minutes? No, 11 minutes, 12 minutes. Almost an hour on our flight time. So, yeah, we'll be there shortly. Enjoy, folks. Enjoy the ride. And again, if you're on YouTube, we would sure love for you to smash that subscribe and like button. Those of you over here on Twitch, new to the channel or haven't as of yet, hey, we'd love you to smash follow. All it's going to do is just let you know via email if you trigger notifications that we're going live. And for you over on YouTube, for those, it's just going to tell you when the next video was released. Now with YouTube, the subscriptions that people are used to here on Twitch, in YouTube it would be memberships, which we have not. I'm still kind of not sure if we're able to monetize the channel. They told us we were, but looking at it, I have probably looking at it with eyes that it looks still like I got to get to 1,000, so, which I'm fine with. I am totally fine with that. That's over on the YouTube side. Here, I'd love to get to 500 here. 500 follow, well, 500 subscribers would be awesome. No, 500 followers. Subscribing, I get $5 for, well, I get a chunk of that subscription fee. Ooh, 500 would, boy, fill my, make my wife really happy. Make a lot of people out there happy to have that many. But I'm very, very happy with what we have. Those that come in and go out, we sure love y'all, and hope to see some of you come back. Haven't seen a few of you. Hope all is well with you. I'm going to check something over on Sim Air Force. Cool. All right. And there we are into cruise. All right, folks, I will be right back. Gonna refill my coffee and we'll continue on to Hill Air Force Base in Utah, just north of Salt Lake International. Be right back. All right, folks, we're back with you. Also paid a visit to the first officer. Had to check in with our 9-month-old. All right, so according to the chronometer, 47 minutes. Not bad. So how's your week been going, folks? I hope well, and I hope you're able to relax tonight and enjoy. For those of you out in the European time zones, hope things are going well, and hope you enjoy tonight. And for those here in the U.S., hope you enjoy this as well while you work. I won't say anything. But anyway, we are at our cruise altitude, and folks, you know, if you've thought about streaming and all, it's not really hard. The hardest part is just getting things the way you want them on either OBS Studio or through Streamlabs or Stream Elements. Studio you put on your desktop. Streamlabs and Stream Elements version of OBS are actually just web-based, so you're working off the web with them. Couldn't tell you good or bad difference between them, but that's pretty much it. And then you just got to set up through the whoever you want to stream through. But it's not that scary. First time going live, you're always going to be nervous for first few times. But then it's just like, you know, hanging out at the water cooler at work, you know, shooting some gossip and all of that. Shame on you for gossip, but you know, hey, it you know, it does happen, and it just becomes second nature, just like learning how to chat on ATC channels. Eventually, it just like talking to the neighbor across the fence. Unless he's a real mean, scary looking guy and he keeps you on your toes the whole time. But or doesn't ever show his face. Just from about his nose up. Yes, that's a reference to Tool Time. Home Improvement. Oh. But anyway, we are on our way. I hope you enjoy. Like I said, like it says in the title here on Twitch, this is a Sim Air Force Day. We're going to fly 2 legs for them back to back. McChord into Hill Air Force Base, and then Hill Air Force Base into Albuquerque International Kirtland Air Force Base. And that is the actual event for us today. I'm just quickly catching up. And if you're interested in the 767, as you see in the title there, exclamation mark 767 will get you all the information you need. To get the KC-46, just Google it. It is not hard to find. There are like half a dozen that come in there. Unlike the Felis 747, where they actually have conversions to actually make the plane look more like an E4, I'm not going into that. Still too green, new to X-Plane to dabble with Plane Maker. So again, hope your week is going well. And currently, we've had a nice break from this snow, not the cold air, but the snow here in St. Louis. But, you know, that's expected. You get a pretty good sized storm like we had. You might get a couple clippers off of it, and then it kind of settles down, and then it'll ramp up again, you know, about 5-10 days, and then we'll go back into it. Welcome to winter. The reverse happens in summer. So we get hot, and then we get nice for a couple days, then it ramps us back into the heat. So, you know, welcome to the world we live in. And so I really do hope you all are staying warm and are safe. Especially those of you out in California. I heard rumor of another fire starting somewhere. Hopefully they can get on it real quick and prevent it from doing what Palisade did. All right, we are turning at BKE to head towards Boise. And then on down to Hill Air Force Base. Been a little bit since we've been in there, so ought to be fun times. About 39 minutes out. Enjoy the music and the sounds of the beautiful 767. All right, folks, we're back with you about 150 or so miles out, 30 minutes to go. Let's take a look at this approach real quick. Bear with me a second. There we go. Where are you, charts? There you are. All right. So I know some people out here are interested in these charts for either their school purposes in flight training or for whatever their reasoning. So we like to kind of go through this. And, you know, it also helps us to make sure we've done everything. So for today, we're going into Kilo Hotel India Fox, Hill Air Force Base on the ILS X-ray for runway 14. Why the ILS over here? Again, we're on NavGraph charts, so this is such an intuitive program. Click over here on the weather, and it brings it up. Currently, the winds 120 at 3 knots, 10-mile visibility. Now they're showing light snow. Scattered at 1500, broken 2900. Shouldn't be all that difficult to get in there, but we'll see. Overcast at 3500, it's -2 degrees Celsius, which translates to 28 degrees, and it's -7 on the dew point. 3051, so not much difference in pressures between the two. Again, the airport is 4,789 feet above sea level. Okay, so we got a pretty fun run in here. We don't have an ATIS, so that usually means we don't have ATC. Most military bases that I know of, Charleston could be one of the exceptions, and maybe a couple of others, are not on D-ATIS. Digital ATIS. So, all right, so here's our approach. We do not have a start. So we're going to come into the last intersection, BEARR, and we're going to go direct wild. Unless ATC says otherwise. All right. Now, across the top are the frequencies for there. Now, this little asterisk tells us when the tower is not online. That's our CTAF. Bear with me a second. You're right. I'm putting it in. 127.1.5. Oh, haven't had that happen in a long time. There we go. So now when we get closer, we can tune in CTAF and come in. Usually, you call in to the tower at approximately 5 miles out. Usually, unless handed off by center approach to tower, then you would contact them checking in. All right, so the localizer for today, 109.9. Approach course, final, 139. Hoppy, which is 6.4 miles from the runway. We need to be at 6,300 feet. Oh, excuse me, 6,300. Oh, man. I hate when I get the hiccups. On our altimeter, not our radar. Okay. Decision altitude will be 4,986 feet on the altimeter. The radar altimeter, 200 feet. And that's why I kind of stuck with wanting an ILS. There's our missed approach. Feel free to read it. We'll look at it here in a second. High terrain east to final approach. You can see it here on the chart. 9,000 foot tops. Nearly 10,000 feet. Wasatch Range. It's really a fun place to come into. I really like it. Again, here's your ILS information. Again, we come into Wild. Then we go to Mughal, which is 17 miles. Cadgo, 9 miles. Hoppy, That's our 6,300 foot mark at 6.4 miles out. Coming down, stair-stepping our way down, 8,600 to 7,000 to 63. You see how it works. All right, we're on a 2.80, so we're a little flatter approach. So our speeds, which we'll get here in a second, probably gonna be around 700 feet a minute. Now we'll have an ALSIF 2 arrival for the approach lights. We should see those. Reels, the flashing strobes on the end of the runway, not in the tree of approach lights, edge of the runway to let you know where it is. Pappies will be on the left. There's our missed approach. Minimums, 4,986 feet. Okay, that's great, you know, but the problem is METARs are red in above the ground. So look to the parentheses, 200 feet, cool. As long as you have 200, 002 or higher, we're good for this approach. By the way, there is no Cat 2, Cat 3. So if we're below this and we shoot it, guess what? We're going to have to go to either the alternate or find, you know, make our decision. But the alternate isn't far away. Visibility wise, half-mile visibility or an RVR of 24 or higher. So really not a bad approach. Now, a couple things on this chart to point out. As you look over here at Hill, it's a TACAN. That's mostly military. Tankers have TACANs on them, so the people looking for them in the sky can kind of fly to them to get fuel. Anyway, that's not modeled in flight simming. It is in digital combat, but it's not in flight simulation. However, nice, this chart at least, I don't know if the real world chart puts this on. It's 111.2. And that would provide our DME in. Otherwise, you would dial up 49 X-ray on your TACAN. But digital combat does support that. However, they don't have a theater with Salt Lake. They do for the Nevada test range, Persian Gulf, I think Afghanistan, don't quote me on that. Obviously the Caucasus, that's what you get out of the box, and a couple of other areas. So, but I don't fly digital combat anymore. Way too many problems in the past, and that's why. All right, so let's get in here and get some things squared away. First off, come down here and look at our FMC. We're down to 71 miles. So what I'm going to do, click init ref, and we're looking at 124. So that means we'll probably come down about 140, 135 on the approach for landing. Let's come down a little further. Got our CTAF in. I told you that would be your tower frequency, 127.1.5. Our ILS is 1099. This radio in the middle is our ILS radio. We don't have a nav radio. 109. And that's why I find that hilarious that it doesn't work up there. And 139. Okay, so our ILS is set, CTAF is set, we're still on Terra with our squawk code given to us, and we're about 60 miles now out of top of descent. So if you're into it, you can put your predictions in, exclamation mark the word predict, the space, and a negative number. And you know, we'll see who gets the closest. This ought to be a fun approach. I do know that. Um, Not really certain how Flight Factor and the icing products that are in X-Plane, how they work, if it actually will ice up or not. So I am going to go ahead here shortly and turn on the anti-ice. I'll be right back, folks. All right, sorry about that. I was going to try and help my wife out here. She was going for the crock pot with a baby in the arms. I know you women out there can juggle a million things with a kid in your arms, so. But I thought I'd be gentlemanly enough and say I can help. All right, the top of descent is now. No, it isn't. It's 36 miles away. We're in cruise. I hit the wrong button. All right, I'm going to plan brakes 3, actually brakes 2, since we do have light snow in the area. I am going to try. Let me see if I can get some runway numbers. Is today the 17th? No. Okay. I had one that said aerodrome closed. But that's 127. And that's over the weekend, I guess. All right. We're 30 miles out. Actually 20. Let's set up for our descent to 9,000. All right, we're going to actually come on down to 8,600. Now, there's a couple of ways to descend this aircraft. You can wait for the top of descent, or if, say, the controller came on and told us to descend now, you could do this. Let me show you. All right, bring this up. Go to descent. If these are not here, click VNav, go to descent, and then click descend now. Make sure your transition level is correct, especially if you're anywhere but North America for the most part. But anywhere else, double check. And here we go. And there we are starting into our descent. Got about 16 minutes to go, folks. Looking here. All right, starting our descent, auto brakes. We're going to set to 2. EFIS control panel to the, we've got that set at 200. ILS panel, we've started our descent. Welcome into the Utah and Idaho area. I'll be really curious if we can see the Salt Lake. All right, inbound currently to Hill. Okay. All right, getting things kind of squared away for the next flight. Getting in here just a tad bit later than I wanted, but not by much. Do a quick reservice and hopefully be able to just turn and go, but can't remember if I can do that in this one. Again, if you're interested in joining Sim Air Force, just remember it does require your flights on VATSIM, and but if that's okay with you and you want to fly military operationally, um, check it out and we can get you up and going. Okay, got a pretty good descent going. We're going to hit wild perfectly and then join the ILS. So we're getting ready to hit transition here. Again, remember we're going to set the altimeter 3049. Hit the set screw to take care of the other, and then we'll get this one. Question. Those of you who followed with Mike also should know the answer. When I move that altimeter to 3049, which way's the needle gonna go? Up or down? Are we gonna go up in altitude or down in altitude on it? I even gave you enough time to fire your sims up to find out. The needle will go up. All right, I'm going to go ahead, spin. Let me see. Come down on the range. Okay, here we come up on transition. So let's see if flying with Mike was right. There goes the needle up. If you didn't believe me, watch again over here. There you go, folks. Little aviation knowledge imparted on you. Oh, excuse me, I didn't want to sneeze in your ears. Okay, we're about 10 minutes out, folks. Make sure you put your predictions in, and those interested, I should say. And we should be on the ground, like I said, in about 10 or so minutes. So, what'd you think of Flight 1 today of Sim Air Forces event day? Flight 2 comes up once we get on the ramp there at Hill and head out for Albuquerque. All right, let's go ahead now, get all that anti-ice on. All right, any restrictions at Wild? Just for the hold, okay. $23 miles out, okay. Now 29 minutes old, same weather, 190 at 3, 10 miles, light snow, overcast, 3,300, broken 2,600. I am going to go ahead, set us to 240 for now. All right, we are now direct to the ILS. Okay, looks like the localizer may be alive. I don't know if we have a NavRad page. No, we don't. It's going to see if we were tuned in. Okay, we are beginning to slow up. Turning for the ILS. Okay, we're now headed for the airport. Let me dial down one more. Hill Air Force Base, traffic reach 18 heavy, approximately 17 miles north of the field on the localizer for 1-4. Get some more flaps in. Coming on with the gear. All right, folks, let's get ready to land this pup, shall we? Again, Exclamation mark the word predict, a space, and a negative number. Go flaps 20. Runway is in sight. I'm just going to make sure we get under 2,600 feet. AGL. So we don't lose the runway. KV ref 125, 135, so we'll slow to 140. Something tells me I got a time wrong. Hill Air Force Base traffic, reach 18 heavy, 6 mile final Hoppy, initial fix 14. All right. Couple minutes left, folks. Exclamation mark the word predict, a space, and a negative number. Put your 2 cents in and what you think I'll do on this landing. Looks good right now, but it always goes to, doesn't go well once we hit the threshold. Okay, we'll be landing. Okay, 3 green, flaps full, spoilers arm, brake set. Landing.
100, 50, 40,
Welcome to Hill Air Force Base. That actually felt like a good landing. All right, we'll park here near base ops. All right, here we are. Okay, quickly throw on the generator, the bleed. What do we got to set trim to? Okay, we don't. Okay, let's head down here. All right, we are in, and flight directors can be turned off, and so can the engines. All right. All right, so here we are, folks, Hill Air Force Base. Hope you enjoyed that little run from Tacoma, McChord Air Force Base, down to Hill Air Force Base. Now we're going to continue on, go from Hill. Hang on, let's get a beautiful shot of those mountains. All right, so now we'll head on to Albuquerque. Hope y'all are ready. We'll begin setting that up here shortly, but let's take a look at our numbers. That's kind of weird. Hang on a second. All right, so today the flight, oh wow, oh wow. Today's flight ended with a -1 landing rate on the Smart Car 3 here at Hill, and 1.2 so for the flight time. Not bad. All right, we'll leave that out there for them. All right, so now let's go look at the various tools we have. Elevatech. It's the alpha product I've been testing here. And, well, actually, you know what? Let's wait about 10 seconds. Let our gracious folks come back. I didn't catch our landing rate, by the way, on the screen there. All right. Welcome back, folks, from the break. Hey, if you click subscribe here in Twitch, you can get rid of commercials. And it helps the stream out as well. We get some profit from it. Elevatech, as I was saying to our subscribers, hang on a second. Sorry, I had an itch in my ear. We are going to see how we did. I'm an alpha tester for them. And we just oh, there we are, way down there. How about that? 305, I beg to differ. But at 142, not bad. 1.4 Gs, again, not bad. Good, solid landing. And unfortunately, that's all you get with Elevatech. And for those of you on the payware of Volanta, I feel sorry for you because you don't get what I'm about to show you. Let me show you why I use Sim Toolkit. It really does help you out. All right, so as you can see, it logged us at 253. We'll get that more. Oh, wait, sorry about that. Let me get SimBrief out of here. So as you saw, 253 on the feet per minute. Let's complete the flight. Okay, click the flight. Okay, there's what it looked like. Here's the details you're used to. Hour and 40 minutes, 570 miles, 4,200 kilograms. Now, they got us closer to 1.8 on the landing. I'm sorry, that felt like I barely touched the runway. As Sim Air Force recorded. But we got a minus 253 and 142 knots. Okay, that's what you're all used to. Now let's go into the full report. This tells us a lot more. One, the picture is well worth 1,000 words. There's where we aim to land, which is approximately 1,000 or so feet down the runway. We landed 1,300, call it 1,400 feet down, 3 feet off the center line. I mean, folks, that's picturesque. Perfect. That's what we like to see. Plus, we had a good approach profile in the whole time. I mean, that was one of my better landings. Heading 142 should have been 138, but that was compensating for a slight crosswind. Our pitch looks good. Roll, again, part of that getting it, you know, with the crosswind and then the normal numbers you're used to. But right there is worth 1,000 words. That was a good flight. All right, so we're going to take a quick break here. I'm going to kind of change things up. Hope the airplane will follow suit, that we don't have to restart the sim and all of that. But, and then we're going to fly what was, I thought, to be the event today. I'm starting to wonder. Hang on a second, folks. It's starting to look like I may have got things all messed up. All right. Well, like I said, folks, I'm going to take a quick break here, get things set up for our YouTube audience on the second run, and fingers crossed the aircraft will switch over quite nicely. Speaking of switching over, remember in Tacoma, we couldn't get, let's see what happens now. Oh, now that looks so much better. We changed the engines. So it is supposed to be, I got to make a mental note, Pratt & Whitney's on this. I thought GE's. That's what I get for thinking all the time. But anyway, let's take that quick break and be back here in a few minutes. Give me about 5 minutes and we'll have things set and ready to go. So we'll be right back. Twitch, we're not going anywhere. We're going to just shut down the stream, so to speak, for the YouTube side of the house, and then we'll restart so they have not as long of a video to go through. They'll have a couple of videos. And for the rest of you, if you want to go back and watch. So, all right, so let's wrap this up, and we'll be right back.